Jeff Johnston, will you lead us in our prayer, please?
May we pray? Gracious Heavenly Father, once again we come to you, thanking you for many blessings. We've seen a lot of storms, a lot of problems, a lot of people stepping up and going beyond the norm and serving others besides themselves. But Father, we thank you for the blessing you've given us. We thank you for the one that's prepared to build today. Bless us to your service and all things we do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Courtney, will you introduce our guest, please?
Yes. We have Peggy Robertson. She's a retired occupational therapist, just like my mom there. Wonderful. And she's a guest of Patty Williams.
Wonderful.
We'll also congratulate Patty for having her next week. We need prayers. She's not doing prayers. Early birds. So let's pray for her. Where's Tom go? Tom has a guest. Oh, there he is. Okay. I didn't see Tom, so look for Tom. Tom brought Steve Brock today. He's the guest of Tom DeWitt, and he works for Mosquito Cutters, and he's a guest of Tom. Oh, sure. I'll let you.
Hi, I'm also a member of First Christian Church here, so I'm there to turn on. Some others around here, so I'm just happy to be here and check this out today.
Consider joining.
Mr. Bill Coates, I did my very best attempt at filling in for Sports Moment last week.
How'd you do?
Well, I just said there weren't any sports because it snowed all week, so.
It wouldn't take much to be me, so I'm sure you did great. Hey, just a couple quick notes. I don't know how many of you are golf fans, but everybody knows who Tiger Woods is, right? A week ago tomorrow, he was near fatal car accident in Los Angeles County, apparently recovering. And while his life is not in jeopardy, his golf career may be, we don't know. But anyway, yesterday, the PGA Tour finished up a tournament in Florida, World Golf Championship, they call it, and many of the players were wearing red and black, which is Tiger in volleyball. On Sundays, Tiger Woods wears black pants and a red shirt. He's been doing that for his whole career. I thought that was kind of a cool moment. I mean, he's spent a lot of those guys, he's made a lot of money. Because Tiger Woods' impact on golf, bringing people who never even watched a golf tournament, but all of a sudden did for 20 years. You know, he made those guys a whole lot of money, and I think they really appreciate it. Many of them are young enough now that they grew up watching him play. So that was kind of a cool moment. Just a couple of local notes. This is the strangest spring in local sports history. At the end of this month, Tiger Junior College will start an 8-game football schedule. March 27th, they play at Navarra, and the junior colleges are going to play 8 games. And so there's going to be football at Rose Stadium. And if you like your football, you're going to wait long because it's coming back pretty quickly with JUCO football. Just crazy stuff is what it is. At the same time, they've got basketball, baseball at all the schools. TJC plays a basketball doubleheader on Saturday, and UT Tyler's got baseball and softball this weekend, so it's just crazy. Colleen, what's up?
I would say
Okay. Anyway, and so it's just a very, very strange spring, local event. So there'll be stuff packed into a short period of time. Let's put it this way: if you like any sport, there's a chance you can see it over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks. Just about anything you want, they're going to be playing in one of the local schools because they're having to make up for stuff that didn't get done in the fall. And on a personal note, it's good to see this handsome fellow right here, Rich Davis, back. I think he's been watching some online, but he hasn't been here. How long's it been since you've been here, man? Yeah, been nearly a year since he's actually got to attend the meeting, but he's a former, they just let him out of jail. He's a former president of this club. I know this because I'm the one that recruited him to do it after I did. So good to have Richard. Who got that this
You can just bring it back front. You beat me to it, Bill. I was also gonna, welcome Rich back because we've not seen him in almost a year, so it's great to see you, Rich. Glad to have you here. We actually have an exciting day. We have 3 new members. Terry, you just walked in, so you didn't know that this was happening, but we've got 3 new members that we're going to install today. So if I can have Patty Williams, Terry Hoops, and Michael Yanez come on up front. Johnny, will you grab that other microphone on your way up? All right. So these are 3 new members of our club. They have filled out their applications. Michael is from Cable's Roofing, and he's actually kind of replacing one of the other folks from Cable's Roofing, so kind of a corporate situation. Patty has been coming for the last couple months. I know she volunteered at the parade, and that's what got her interested in coming on to Rotary. And Terry, you're a past Rotarian from another club, and he's just submitted his membership, and all 3 have been approved by the board. So we're going to induct them today, and then Johnny's going to come up and give you guys a little bit of not a little bit. He's just going to ask you guys a few questions to learn a little bit more about you. So today, we welcome to you, 3 of you, to our Rotary family with membership. You were sponsored by your son. You were sponsored by Darren Gables, and Terry is a sponsored by us. You have been chosen for membership of the South Tyler Rotary Club because of your standing in your vocation and in the community, and because your personal qualities, which we believe will make you a good Rotarian. By joining the South Tyler Rotary Club today, you become part of a worldwide organization of business professionals and leaders who are united in fellowship to provide humanitarian service, to encourage high ethical standards in all vocations, and to create goodwill and achieve peace throughout the world. By virtue of your membership in this club, you are welcome in the fellowship of any Rotary Club in the world. It is my privilege and honor to induct you as members of the South Tyler Rotary Club today, and we will pin you guys. You're lucky you now have magnets. You don't have to worry about getting stuck. Well, it's easy when you're magnets. So fellow Rotarians, I would present to you our newest members of the club and charge you to give them your friendship and help educate them on the responsibilities and requirements of being a Rotarian. So welcome to our 3 new members. So Johnny, you want to come up, and he's just going to do a quick Q&A. And real quick, you guys, the last couple of meetings, I've given everybody a little bit of an incentive to wear your pins. But when you join, you also get a Rotary bumper sticker. So you guys could quickly go out and put these little bumper stickers on your car. And, yeah, too. So Terry, that's for you. All right, Johnny.
All right, welcome to Rotary. Thank you. We'll pass that down. How many of you ladies go first? Good? All right, Miss Patty. Now, just so you guys know, and just so you know a little bit ahead of time, it's really easy to do this when you know the system or the process that we go off of. And I go off of what's called the form process. We talk about family, occupation, recreation, and then motivation. So if anybody else out there needs to do this with anybody of your guests or your clients, that when you don't know what to say, family, occupation, recreation, motivation. If you're in the automobile industry, you can use Ford, and the D stands for dreams. or desires, but whichever motivates you. But family, let's talk about family, Miss Betty.
Okay, I'm here because of my son, Kelly Williams. He just opened a farmer's insurance office over on Brookside. And I love to volunteer. And he said, when I moved to Tyler in June, I moved away to take care of my mother who's ill for 3 years. I was a nurse. I'm a retired RN. I'm in occupation now, sorry. But anyway, when I got back, he said, I got the thing for you. You need to come to Rotary. And he was so right. I am very, very excited to be with people. I love people. I love to serve, and I can just tell that I'm going to be with a team that will help me find my talents and do the best I can do for the community.
That sounds like a Rotary right there, doesn't it? Recreation, what do we do for fun?
Life is fun. I run around with my girlfriend. We giggle a lot. We're real simple. I have 2 dogs that I love to walk. I love God. So I love the earth and plants, and I'm just a real easy to satisfy kind of gal. I don't really have a lot of recreation. And these days, who does? With COVID and everything going on, we can't get out, right?
And then motivation, what motivates you?
God. It's just God all the way. I mean, He put it in me. I'm excited about people and about getting out of the house and serving, and it's just got to be Him. That's all it can be.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Michael?
So that's tough to follow up.
Yeah, just tell us a little bit about your family.
Sure. So yeah, actually, I'm originally from California, and I've been here about 11 years now in Tyler. And I met my wife here in Tyler. We got married about 2 years ago, and so we just had a baby. Also, he's going to be born in 2 days.
Nice.
First baby boy. I'm planning on the second one maybe in about 6 months. So some of what's up?
Does she know that? I forgot to tell Mom.
Right? She'll find out soon. I'll surprise her. So yeah, my parents also live here. They actually live in Palestine, Texas. They also moved here about 15 years ago. And Texas has been wonderful to us. We love Texas. The people are great. The Southern hospitality is like unmatched. Oh, sorry about that.
For the benefit of the viewers watching at home and around the world.
Yeah. So yeah, we love Texas, and we're proud to call Texas home, and so we're very happy.
Awesome. And you with Cables Roofing, right?
Cables Roofing.
What do you do?
I'm their marketing manager.
That's good.
Yeah, their networking, advertising, and marketing. I take care of all that.
Now, I know the new baby. What do you do for fun?
For fun, well, I love to play guitar. I've been playing for over 20 years now. My wife, she sings, so we kind of have a duet deal going on. I'm also a big soccer player. Love boxing. Never actually boxed, but love to watch it. And so, and now that I have my first baby boy, he'll be a lot of focus in the near future.
So we might add the guitar and piano, right? Make it a little interesting.
We could jam.
Motivation. What gets you going?
Well, now, it's my family, right? Putting them first and making sure I provide for them. But even before that, I was always, I'm an entrepreneur. So here's a little tiny plug. I also have my own company of 10 years in promotional graphic design, website design, and photography. So I've been doing that for a long time, and that's how I kind of got into marketing. Doing that on my own, and then just networking with a lot of people here in Tyler. I was a part of a Tyler Young Professional Network for about 4 or 5 years. I was on a marketing chair there, and just started meeting a lot of people there. So that I just love to network. That's my thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Thanks
Awesome.
for allowing me to this great organization.
Glad to have you. And Mr. Terry, I really like that. How do you want to do this? I can't wait to hear it. Let's talk about family.
All right, my wife and I, we are 33rd anniversary on Friday.
Oh, wow.
We've got 3 kids, all grown up. 2 boys are in Utah, that's where my wife's from. I'm from Wyoming. Was a founding member of the Star Valley Wyoming Rotary Club in 1994. And I've been in a couple clubs since then. Both of my boys each have a son and a daughter, so I have 4 grandkids. My daughter is here in Texas with us. I moved here 2 years ago, so I got here as quick as I could. What else?
Occupation, what do you do?
I work for the Boy Scouts of America. Couldn't tell. I'm the district director of the area of Smith and Wood counties. I help the scout units do the rechartering and the fundraising and their membership drives, all that kind of stuff.
I just gotta stop right now. What's the most interesting thing you've happened or experienced in the Boy Scouts since you started?
What I enjoy the most is scout camp, watching young boys and girls, attend camp, first time away from home, some of them, for a whole week, and they learn how to do things that are hard, but they can still do them. They learn how to paddle a canoe, or swim a mile, or climb a 50-foot rock wall, or shoot a gun, maybe. Hopefully not for the first time, but maybe.
Now, you're probably working in your fun, right? Is that your fun?
Yes, yeah, I'm camp director at Hurdle Scout Reservation, is 65 miles away from it, close to Louisiana.
Yeah, and what drives you? What motivates you?
I think that's what motivates me. Service to youth, being able to teach them leadership skills and outdoor skills and life skills.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. I don't think I have to say that we have some good additions coming on to the club. So thank y'all for being with us.
Beth, do you have announcements today for spaghetti supper?
I don't have anything meaningful. I'm waiting on some other people to give responses to me before I feel like I can go
Okay.
through stuff, so. But I do want to share, I read this morning that today is World Compliment Day. So have that be.
Have that be your challenge today. Find someone you can compliment to make them feel good. Sounds great. Thank you, Ben. Tom Seal, are we still selling March Madness or are we sold out? 10 spots left for March Madness. The only announcement I really have is just to share with you guys, we did the canned food drive for PATH. It was in conjunction with the church here. They actually delivered the food today to PATH, and it was 317 pounds of food, which is really great. We collected $171 at last week's Pass the Hat, and I know a couple people that made donations online as well. Along those lines, however, when I went into the little room today to pick up the things for our new members, I realized there's a whole box of canned goods in there that I need some assistance getting into my car so I can take it to PATH on my way back this afternoon. So if there's a few of you who can help out, I would greatly appreciate it at the end of the meeting. Are there any other announcements from the floor before we get Tyler?
I want you all to know that in the month of March through April is the Spring Flower Saving Trail.
Great, thank you, Tyler. Colleen, do we know who next week is yet?
No.
Okay.
Rest of March.
Well, we have the 15th and the 22nd and the 29th.
Yes.
So, just next week. If you noticed in your bulletin that came out, there was a mystery speaker for today. Our original speaker was, all of a sudden I lost his name, Henry Bell. Henry Bell with the chamber, he was called out of town, so he's going to be speaking to us at the end of the month of March. And so our own Johnny Ortiz is going to come up and speak to us. And I don't think he needs much of an introduction for me, so I'm going to just pass it right on over to you. Johnny.
Thank you, Ms. Diane. Let me just get set up here real fast. This will be pretty fun because I've done this at a couple of other different places and it's always been received really well. So I'm hoping there's no exception here. But I don't want to do it too fast. Although this is a really, really in-depth presentation, I don't want to speed it up any more than it has to because there's so much content that I believe if you're here today, I believe that it's really going to resonate with some. And for the ones that it doesn't, just kind of take what you can, glean from it, and apply it where you can. For those of you, anybody not know who Zig Ziglar is? Okay, so I'm pretty good. I'm in pretty good company. Zig Ziglar, basically, when he passed away in 2012, Tom Ziglar, his son, wasn't sure how they were going to allow his legacy to continue on. And what they did is they decided to come up with some certifications with people who passed every single criteria to be able to do it. And I happen to be one of, last I checked, there was 215 people in 13 different countries that is ZLC certified. Basically, they've given every bit of content that Zig Ziglar created and came up with and said, here, go and help the multitudes. And so it's just fitting that we're in church today. But today, I really want to touch base with you guys on this one, because all it is, here, let me give you my eye, you can't see it, it was red. So I'm going to be giving away some free stuff from Zig Ziglar. Right here, I've got his little book of big quotes. And so for people that have questions or participate throughout this meeting, I'm going to give those to you. But also, if you want to shoot me an email to johnny1ortiz@gmail.com, or just text me free to my number up there, 570-0052. There's a lot of really great content that he puts out. And during the pandemic, Tom basically said, give it away. So there's a lot of really valuable content that if you want to have access to it, just shoot me an email or send me a text, and I'll definitely put that in your email for you. But really, to be effective, and I'm just going to read off my notes here, to be effective in your role as a leader, we've got to think like a leader. We've got to change our mindset. And so you've not only got to think like a leader, but you've also got to act like a leader. And so today, with the content that we're fixing to be talking about, it's my goal and my desire to really equip you to really do both. Because to be a leader, especially in these times right now, with a lot of people suffering from depression, suffering from anxiety, suffering from everything that is going on, they really need somebody to step up. Somebody to really guide them and lead them to help them through whatever it is that they're struggling with. Matter of fact, I found a really interesting thing that took the word depression, split it up, switched the I to the front, the E and the D, and it said, I pressed on. So it doesn't matter what they were going through, they pressed on. Kind of like Mark, right? Pressed toward the mark. So today, I just simply want to go through and talk to you guys about what the philosophy was behind Zig Ziglar. Anybody ever heard that quote before? You can have everything in this life you want if you're just willing to help enough other people get what they want. At the end of the day, it's about serving. Matter of fact, a lot of the principles that Zig taught were right out of our four-way test. And so with that being said, I wanted to go to this part right here. And so it's really going to break down. Why is this one? Okay, maybe it's the flags. I don't know. But there's different qualities that are associated with leaders. And so if you're a leader and you can identify with what that skill set is or what that characteristic is, perhaps you already know the answer to these questions. But for example, just anybody, what's a good character, a good quality that a leader should have? They listen?
Servant's attitude.
Servant's attitude, that's a big one.
Positivity.
Positivity, yeah. Anybody think about integrity and honesty and character and confidence? Confidence, that's the answer I'm looking for. Don't move away. But with everything that's going on, confidence is really what's going to help us as we go forward. It needed to be over here. All right, so, and if anything else, in your ability to tell with confidence, you want to be able to not only that, but tell the truth. Anybody ever been with somebody, whether it's in a presentation or across the desk from somebody, and you knew in your gut of guts that they just were not telling you the truth? Maybe across the desk from a manager or a supervisor giving you your year-end review, and they were just kind of sugarcoating it. Did that really help you? You sense that, right? That sixth sense, it's a real deal. And so what, if anything, you really want somebody that's willing to take the path of least resistance and give you what you need. And that's the truth, especially in today's leadership. There we go. I guess it was the flag. What's that material made out of? Anyway, but confidence That is really what is missing. You know, Mark Twain said that 2 things you need to succeed in life is ignorance and confidence. I'm not going to touch on ignorance, Mark, we'll be here a long time. But confidence is really key in helping you do this. But think back. How many people can name the 5 past and most recent Nobel Prize winners? Okay, maybe some easier. How about the past 5 vice presidents in sequential order? Okay, just kidding. But how many people can go back to somebody in your personal life that really made an impact? Right? Think of that person in your head. Was it a school teacher? A parent? A role model? A supervisor? Somebody that really helped out? These are the people of influence. These are the people that had a vision, that were able to share with you, that were able to inspire you. Anybody know what the difference is between motivation and inspiration? I'm going to help you out with this one. I'm going to help you out with these ones. So, motivation is external. And Zig Ziglar always said that motivation is kind of like bathing. If you don't do it often enough, if you don't do it on a daily basis, sooner or later you start to stink, right? So that motivation is external. Inspiration comes from within. Point in case in point. Somebody, a manager, motivates you, they light a fire under you, right? You ever heard somebody light a fire under his anatomy? Well, a person who inspires lights a fire in someone. And the difference between someone who inspires you and someone who motivates you is nothing more and nothing less. That inspiration doesn't burn out. Since we're in the church, it's one of those things that once you have that inspiration that you need internally to do whatever it is that God put you on this earth to do, all of a sudden nobody has to motivate you. You wake up, you go do it, and you get. That's what I like. What he said that's what lights your fire. But there's a couple of different leaders in what we talk about when we refer to leaders, and one is a leading leader. And a leading leader is simply one that is basically tied to his position, right? You don't necessarily, they're not a leader because you think of them as a leader, but because they're just not your boss. And so sometimes that boss is like, hey, wait, I'm the manager. Hey, I'm the guy that you're supposed to be following, right? I don't know if nobody in here has ever had to have one of them for your supervisor, but they're out there. They have that manager-itis, right? Look at the title, look at the placard on the desk. I'm the boss. No, you're not. And you don't have to have a title or be a manager to be a person of influence or a leader for that matter. But then there's the learning leader, kind of like the knowledge quadrant. Now that you know that you need help in leading, now you're able to do something about it. And so when you're able to do something about it, all of a sudden you turn into somebody that's willing to find a book, find a course, find something that's going to help you move forward. And when you think about it, if you're not willing to learn, nobody can help you. There's nothing in this world that can help you. But if you are, nothing in this world can stop you. It's really just a matter of motivation and determination. But your investment in people and relationships creates substantial paths to gain in productivity. Right? Leadership is an art of getting someone else to do something that they want to do, not because you want them to do it, but because they in themselves want to do it. And so what type of leader are you? Right? The next one above that is the top performance leader and then the people builder. How many people, restaurant business, if you're in the mortgage business, if you're in the real estate business, how many people realize that people do business with people that they know, like, and trust? That goes back to that honesty. That goes back to that character. And so when you're building people up and you're helping them, all of a sudden what happens is that you're able to get more things done. Ever heard of a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? That 6th habit, right? Anybody know it? Free book? That 6th habit is the habit of synergy. And that's where 1 + 1 no longer equals 2, But 1 plus 1 is now 3 and 4 and 5. If we take the biblical approach, 1 can put 1,000 to flight, 2 can put 10,000. I call it celestial synergy. Because 1 with God, yeah, it's the majority. A lot of people think it's me against the world. As long as you have God in your corner, it's just my opinion that, hey, everything is going to be okay. But what happens is just simply that. A lot of people need help building the business. But in essence, they get it backwards because in order to build a business, you don't focus on the business, you focus on the people. You build the people, and then the people actually go back and build the business. I think it was Steve Jobs that says we don't hire smart people and tell them what to do. We hire smart people and they tell us what to do. Elon Musk said, I've never went to Harvard, but I have several people working for me that did. Not bad company, right? But the next one here, the difference maker leader. And here really is where you start to really make the difference in people's lives. Because that's where you're able to glean in and you're able to get into their inner circle, into their dominant motivations for why it is that they do what they do. Because too many times, people get into a job with bad leadership, and that's kind of where their dreams go to die. I can't remember, I wish I could give you credit, but he said that so many people die at age 22 to 25, but they're not buried until 50, 60 years later. And they go to the grave with their dreams and their gifts and their talents still inside of them. There's no telling what would happen if a difference maker of a leader, like plenty of people that I'm looking in this room, decided to be that leader in somebody else's lives. So what that you're not a manager on your job? So what that you're not the supervisor? You are a leader just in the sense that you're a Rotarian. There's a sense of servitude, there's a sense of giving back that is in you. And what greater gift to give somebody than that gift of leadership, to help them do, be, and have more than they ever thought possible. We read that earlier. That's what he based his whole philosophy on in the business that he did, over 5 decades worth. Had an impact of over 250 million lives that he's helped. And no telling how many more lives he's still affecting through his certification program. But too often times, what happens? We get frustrated. I know nobody's been there. I know people, you hit that glass ceiling, you get that glass ceiling, that glass lid, that everything that gets you think, there's got to be more than this. And so, to slow this down a little bit, you don't have to raise your hands, but how many people feel that they have untapped potential inside of them? How many people feel that you were destined for more, that you can be, do, and have more than what you've gotten up to this point? And that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to help every person that we come in contact with. Not necessarily me, but you. And if one, it almost sounds like that pyramid thing. Hey, if you get a person, you go get another person, and that person gets another person, right? But it's amazing what happens whenever you're positive and your enthusiasm and your excitement carries over into making that individual's life better than they ever thought possible. And so at the car dealership, we always used to say that I'd rather see enthusiasm on fire than knowledge on ice. It's just one of those things where you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't do anything with it, it doesn't amount to anything. Here's the part that I really wanted to get to. And this is a long one. Diane asked me how long it would take. I'm not going to finish it. But I really wanted to get to this point. Because this presentation is really designed to be about 2.5 hour lunch or an afternoon or a late morning because of the activities involved that gets engagement. And you're going to find out that word is going to be really key going forward. And so, that being said, does anybody know what the real problem is in this world that we're facing right now? Free book. John's got one. Who's good for the next one? Anybody know what the problem is facing the world today? Lack of engagement? Close. I'm looking for one word. Starts with a Z. I'll give you a hint. Starts with a Z.
Zombies.
Have you seen this? You get a book, sir. See me after class. Zombies. Now that's not real. It's not the apocalypse, right? Not that. But there's those people that died at age 24, at age 25, and they're just zombieing through life, brain dead, not really knowing what's going on. They're working. I don't mean this in a negative way, but I guess they kind of do. They have that hourly mentality that I'm just going to go to work for a paycheck. That's it. I'm going to go in, I'm going to clock out, I'm going to, and there's a lot of people out there like that, and that's okay. But my coach and mentor here says zombies don't care because they don't have any dreams. They don't have any aspirations. They don't have any goals that are worth chasing. So the cure, engagement. Engagement is the zombie cure. I'm going to slow this down right here. Because in order to cure this, 3 out of 10 people, the average, hey, this is just the average, 3 out of 10 people. And this has been, let me find out the name of that poll that they did. Oh, anybody heard of a name, company named Gallup? I should have written it down. But Gallup did a poll, and 3 out of 10 people in an institution, in a business, in a nonprofit, in a whatever, only 3 really understand the goal, really understand. Now I know Rotary's exemplary higher than that for sure, but in normal, everyday, 30% know what's going on. That'd be like a football team, only the quarterback and the wide receiver. Well, if you're Tampa Bay, that'll work. Anyway, if only 2 or 3 people knew what the goal of the organization was, how much more, how much untapped potential are they really leaving on the table? Because out of the 3 or the 2 or 3 people that know what's going on, how many people know the rest of this? Oops. 3 out of the 10 are engaged. 52 are disengaged. They're basically just, whatever. They go in, they clock in, they do a few little things, they answer a few emails, answer a few phone calls, no enthusiasm, no excitement, no anything. They're looking around, they clocked in at 9 o'clock. It's 9:30, they're planning their lunch. I know you don't know anyone like that. But at 9:30, they're trying to figure out, and after lunch, they're trying to figure out, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? But those are disengaged. They are bringing nothing to the table. And then worse than that, you've got 1 to 2 people that are actually slowing you down. That would be like a football team. About 2 to 3 people don't even know which end zone is theirs. But when you just can't run a business, you can't run your life, you can't run anything with this type of mentality, with this type of action. They're actually making it worse. The water cooler, right? They're gossiping, they're talking negative. Zig Ziglar called it that stinking thinking. They need to get it checked up from the neck up. But, you've heard that before, right? But, and I'm going to go over these statistics and then I'll shut it down. But I do want to tell you that the reason this is such a big deal is think about it. For a company, it doesn't matter who you are. What does a 22% in higher productivity do for you? Right? That's a lot of sandwiches. Correct? 2 times the success rate. With somebody that's on the tail end of that 1 to 2 people drawing negativity, you get 3 hours worth of work for 8 hours worth of pay. With these guys, you get double the success rate, fewer quality incidents, 25% less absenteeism. Any HR managers in here? HR is one of the biggest costs for a business, for anything. 65% less turnover because you got somebody committed. You're helping somebody achieve their dreams, their goals, their aspirations, and they know that you're looking out for their best interest at heart. And they actually produce 1.5 times their pay. That's pretty productive. That's pretty good production, right? They get 9, 10, 12 hours out of an 8-hour day. How many would like to have more of that? But lack of engagement is costing a fortune, but higher pay is not the result of the problem. 79% of these people said lack of appreciation. Lack of appreciation and letting them know that they just want a pat on the back. They just want to know that they are contributing to something meaningful And I believe honestly that that's why we meet up here every single day, even online. You know you're part of something bigger than yourself. I'll wrap this up here pretty quick. This was pretty crazy, right? 35% of the people said that they would forego a substantial pay raise to see their manager fired. Get rid of this guy. You can keep my money. Get rid of that guy. Anyway, that being said, engagement starts with understanding, and what people want is the connection between personal life and their professional life. This right here, anybody know the name of that lady? Jean Ziegler. Zig Ziglar called her the decided wicked, meaning just one day she decided to be ready. And John Maxwell said it like this. He said that people connect where they understand, but they commit where they feel understood. Going back to the 7 habits of highly effective people, that 5th habit is seek first to understand, then to be understood. And when you take in an employee or your co-partner, your co-worker, your business partner, and you really get on the same page, what happens is more production. You get that synergy. You get that multiplicity of benefits not only for you but for your company. I'm going to just make sure I didn't miss anything here real fast.
You still have time.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll go just a few more slides in. So the number 1 leadership secret, we've already said, right? Engagement. But in order to find out what that is, all it simply is a leader who cares. Going back to John Maxwell, he was a really good friend of the Ziegler family, and he had a really good quote that simply stated, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. How many have heard that before? Zig Ziglar said, John, that's a great quote, but it's 2 words shy. And he coined it and added about them. So people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. Be other-centered, right? Where's Rotary? Service to others, pretty big deal. And then the leaders that care show it by getting 3 things right. And I'm going to kind of speed through these because I'm going to try to make the next one work out really good. The right foundation. And the right foundation, any builders, I know we've got some real estate agents in the house, but the builders, that foundation's got to be solid. And the same thing here when working with people. But hiring the right person for the right position, providing clarity and purpose, that's huge. That's paramount, especially John Gordon wrote a book, The Energy Bus. Anybody read that one? That's a really good book. But you want to have the right person in the right seat, on the right bus. Those 18 that 18% on that bicycle, they were on the wrong bus. It takes a good leader to tell them, hey bud, it's just not going to work out. Need it in a nice way, right? Because you don't want any HR concerns. But you got to give them the right resources. And a relationship, that's really what it boils down to, is relationship building. In your business and what you do, it's relationships. I used to be a server when I came up through the restaurant business. And as a server, before I got into sales, I can't tell you how many times I would see their name on the credit card slip. I would call them by name. Before you know it, they started coming back and asking for me. Before you know it, the tips started getting bigger. I wanted to make sure that it was engaging, that it was entertaining. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, came because I was supposed to go on a date after work. And I think this is before the 3-drink limit came into play. And I probably should have been better at stopping them, but she came in and this older lady was serenading me. And kind of I explained that to her. But we really had a good time serving people and giving them that engagement, that excitement, and that experience. And they just kept coming back. The tips kept getting bigger. And then I got into sales, and the commissions were really, really good. But we focused on those relationships, but they're built on trust. We talked about earlier, 2-way communication, and generous recognition, appreciation, and praise. And then that's where you get into the dreams portion. Because I know it's easier said than done when you have an employee, this is their first job. But I think if done properly, even if it's an intern, even if it's somebody who's doing it for free, if you really tap into why it is that they're doing what they're doing, and you find out what their dreams and their goals and their aspirations are in life, I believe that you can have and be that person of impact, be that person of influence in that young person's life. I love what you said about where's Terry? I love what you said about the young kids. I'm the young Sunday school director, not director, but with the boys in our school, and we're teaching them the same principles. But if we don't get to them now while they're young, somebody else is going to get to them with a completely different ulterior motive. And we've got to be able to be willing to step in the gap for those kids and help them achieve their dreams, their goals, and their aspirations. Because working for a dream is one thing, working for a paycheck is another. We'll do a couple more slides real fast. But where you bring it all together is where that alignment happens. And when you have alignment, just like your vehicle, when you're out of alignment, your tires go bad, it costs more money, your fuel efficiency goes down. But when you have dream alignment, all of a sudden, stories like this guy, how many know who this guy is? Right? People would come to him knowing that they could go coach under new hopes, because later on, he would get them a head coaching position. He hired the best because he knew they would bring on their best recruits, help them be a great team, and he wasn't in fear for his position as head coach. He knew he could get more out of them and the people underneath him. I don't have the stats, but he, head coach producer. He was all about the people business. But I'll finish up with this next little story. Dream alignment is like shooting a bow. Any bow hunters? Good. Everybody will understand this. For those that are not, the idea is to hit the bullseye. Kind of like darts. I like playing darts. You can stay inside and play darts. But dream alignment, this is the person doing their job. The company's goals. Every company has a goal. Right here is the person's dream. You're the one holding the bow. And this could actually work in your family too. But the person that your employee, the person that you're in charge of, is in the string. They're pulling them back. And at times, yeah, it does seem like a setback. But if done properly, you can catapult them to achieve their goals and their dreams and their aspirations a lot quicker and a lot sooner, a lot more effectively, and a lot more efficiently than they ever thought possible. Because once they hit the bullseye, right, that's your problem solved. And so all dreams require a team and money. And that's where I'm going to finish this up right here, because dream alignment is when you work for a dream and not a paycheck. And so I've got one more book, and I want to answer a couple, well, I'll just do one question because of time. But any questions so far, whether it's about Zig, whether it's about anything I covered, but I've got one book to get about. Any questions? Yes, sir.
So how many of these presentations have you done or that you're wanting to do each year to spread the type of information of get people more engaged in organizations and their businesses that would make everybody, especially extensions, a lot more productive as a business?
Man, I was very overwhelmed at the end of the certification, because I took the Speakers Institute through the Ziegler Corporation, where they teach you how to put a speech together. I wanted to just take my touch message to the next level. And when I went through that deal, I found out that they had all this stuff, and they literally gave you a vault of every book, every presentation, every PowerPoint that Zig Ziglar has ever done or been a part of. And I can technically coach somebody. They've given this for an example. I can take one person and coach them once a week for a full hour, I think it's like 10 years, and never repeat the material ever again. That's a lot of content. And I was like, I don't need any of that. But Tom said that our goal is whenever we meet with anybody, if we can just change one life, if we can just help one individual be more and do more and have more than they ever thought possible, then he's felt that we've done our job to society. And so if there's a nonprofit, if there's a group of people, if there's a small business, I do this for realtors, but I focus more on the selling side and more on the people relationship side, because the more realtors, I can't finance if they don't sell. So the more I help them sell, guess what? You can have everything in life you want if you help other people get. It holds true. It holds true. It hasn't changed. It's been the same for years and years and years. So yeah, I can do this all day long, literally. So I've got John, I've got Brad, and I've got Mr. Trish. So anyway, that being said, we're good to go. Thank you so much.
Johnny, before you run off, since I know you've saved us a couple of times, several times, is this the third time now, I think, that you've spoken to her? I'd like to give you a couple of South China Rotary coasters as well.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Good job. Thank you, Johnny. A couple of quick things before we wrap up. I've been doing this the last couple of weeks. I'm going to do it again. If you're currently wearing a Rotary pin, please stand up. Anybody else? Stay standing. For you. Alright. I have a few left, so I guess I'll be doing this again. Just a couple of quick things before we wrap up. We put it in the bulletin, but just a reminder that we're currently recruiting students from our 3 schools to participate in the 4-way speech contest. If you have any questions about that, all the information is in the bulletin. You can reach out to Kathy White with her contact information. Oh, okay. Thank you. To Kathy White, we're going to be doing the competition here at our meeting on the 15th, assuming that we can get some participants. So you guys will serve as the judges for the 4-way speech contest for 3 students. And lastly, just as when we started off this year, I talked about Rotary opens up opportunity, and I talked about the opportunities to serve. And I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't disappointed in the amount of service that we've been able to do. Our hands have been tied because of the situation with Corona. There's a lot of restrictions in place. I love for our club to get out and do more community service. And I hope that in the very near future we can. But in the meantime, you guys can still make an impact in the community on your own. One of the biggest ways is by giving blood. I know that they're still dangerously low on blood donations. So if you would like to make the donation, you just go to the Card Blood Care website and sign up for that. There's lots of needy organizations in our town, such as PAC that I work at, as well as Bethesda, name a few more that have lots of volunteers. Meals on Wheels, the East Texas Food Bank, Literacy Council, there's lots of organizations up there that can use individual help. So if you have some time, please consider volunteering on your own until we can get a few more service projects going. And lastly, for those of you who have shared your condolences with me, my Aunt Jeanette passed away last week from COVID. And it was less than 10 days from her getting exposed to when she died. And I honestly don't know. I haven't seen a lot of her in the last few years since we've lived in Texas. I don't know if she had any underlying health issues, but that's quick, less than 9 days from the point that she was where she got exposed to where she passed away. And I know we're all so tired of the restrictions and not being able to go out and eat and have a good time, and we have to wear these stupid masks. If you wear glasses, you hate wearing those stupid masks because they fog up your glasses. But please wear your mask. Continue to do the social distancing. Get your vaccine if you can. And I know that we all know what's going on in the world, but this is the first time it's affected my family, and it was quite a shock. So thanks again for all of your condolences. That being said, we are going to adjourn with the 4-way test. Who wants to do it? Usually I pick somebody in the room. Thank you, Jerry. We'll conclude with a 4-way test led by Jerry.
4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First.
It's true.
Second.
It's fair all concerned.
Third.
With the ability to do the best.
Fourth.
Will be beneficial to all concerned.